Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie, and yes, it has been over a week since I uploaded any videos. Life happened. I ended up getting so busy. We had a bazillion snowstorms, like not even kidding you. It's like snow apocalypse here in Park City, Utah. And I just had to teach a lot at night, just things going on in the evening for me, and I wasn't able to film, much less upload and edit videos. So here I am back. I was really good at uploading 2 videos a week, and I'm going to try very hard to get back into that discipline because how else am I going to grow a channel if I don't post consistently? And let that be a lesson for anything in life. If we're not consistent with anything, it's not going to work. Today, we are going to be discussing a Reddit forum here. It's called Am I the A-hole? Yes, there is a Reddit. There's a Reddit group that's called Am I the A-hole? And I put in a search engine of daycare. So there you go. I got my questions today from Am I the A-hole Reddit forum. Disclaimer, I have been a daycare provider and owner for over 20 years here in beautiful Park City, Utah. I have tended to hundreds, if not thousands, of children in my 20 years in the trenches, working 40 to 60 hours a week for over 20 years. And this is my expert opinion. In my opinion, I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a social worker, a psychiatrist. I am just a person who has seen every type of behavior you could possibly imagine, every type of parent, and have grown my business successfully. Anyway, here we go. Let's go. Today's first question, am I the a-hole for yelling at a daycare worker? I have a 14-month-old daughter. My husband and I work during the day, so she goes daycare. She goes to daycare. She has 2 teachers throughout the day. One comes in early and leaves at 4, and the other is there from 4 to 6:30 pickup. My daughter recently got a new 4 to 6 p.m. teacher. She's rather young. I'm pretty sure she's a teenager. My daughter has specific diapers because she's allergic to the rest. She becomes inflamed and develops rashes, and it's just very uncomfortable for her. I always make sure she has some stocked there. 2 days ago, after I brought her home, I noticed my daughter was in different diapers with a rash already starting. The next day, I went to the daycare and complained, and the teacher apologized. I gave her the ointment my daughter needed and left. It happened again, and it didn't look like my daughter was given any ointment. She's in the same wrong diapers. Her rash is worse. Today, I went to the school furious. I yelled at the daycare worker and said she needed to learn how to do her job, and now my daughter's rash is worse because of her. She got really upset and asked me not to yell and said it was an accident and she didn't know where the rest of my daughter's diapers were put up. The morning teacher has them put up somewhere. I told her that's when you ask. It's not fair. My daughter is irritated and uncomfortable because she won't ask. She kept apologizing and even started to tear up. My husband says I overreacted and we should just look into new daycares because they shouldn't have hired someone so young to be a teacher. He says tomorrow I should buy her a gift card or a candy bar or something and go in and apologize. Now that I think about it, I do feel badly about yelling at a young girl. Am I the asshole? That's a tough one. I would say you're an asshole for yelling and losing your shit on a young girl. Yes. But if your daughter is truly allergic to all diapers, there's got to be better communication in that daycare center. See, that's kind of one of the things that can happen in larger daycare facilities and with different teachers in different shifts, if that makes sense. If there's not proper communication, things like this are very common. Yes, you were kind of a biatch for yelling at a young girl. She was probably mortified. She's probably going to quit, and then there's not going to be a 4 to 6 p.m. teacher for you guys, and then it's going to suck. You know, I'm telling you, parents, Karens all over the world, the meaner you are to employees, That's why people don't want to work. They don't want to deal with your shit. Like, seriously. Yes, you lost your shit and you shouldn't have. But no, because you have a great point, and if your kid is getting a diaper rash because she's allergic to diapers, then, this needs to be rectified with the daycare and the director. See, I would have said the better approach would have been, okay, this is the second time I've said something. Can I speak to the director? And you should have access to the director at all times. If this is a young teenager who was only working for an hour and a half of her day, they don't know these things, especially if she's a teenager. She's just young and dumb. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm saying she's just a young girl. She doesn't have kids. And that's up to the daycare director, the teacher, prior to leaving, to tell that person, these are this kid's diapers and blah, blah, blah. And there should be something in her cubby, some kind of directions or forms. And I know they have them in centers to say she only uses these diapers. Anyway, that was a good question. No, don't lose your crap on a poor young girl. But yes, you have a great point. Let's go to question number 2. Am I the a-hole? Daycare asked us to be less affectionate at home. Now, I haven't read these questions. I just look at the titles and I screenshot them. So my reaction is going to be in real time and authentic. So let's see what this one says. Daycare asked us to be less affectionate at home. I'm pretty sad right now. I just dropped off my just turned 5-month-old son at daycare, and his teacher said he screams to be held all day. He's been there for just over a month. I understand that they can't physically give him the same attention he gets at home. Him being our first child, we do hold him a lot, but he's a baby. Aren't we as parents supposed to hold them and love them? Is it reasonable to ask us to pull back affection at home so he gets used to being put down for extended periods of time during the day? It's not even like I hold him all day long when he's not at daycare. He goes 4 full days a week, and he gets a lot of independent time on his play mat and loves it. Has anyone else received this kind of request from their daycare? My husband and I don't feel comfortable withholding affection from our son. The daycare is framing it as what's best for him, but I just don't see how that's the case. I definitely don't want him to scream all day either. And then she's got an update. Okay, so before I'm going to do her update after I say my piece and see what happened. Okay, so she's upset that the daycare said to withhold affection. I don't know if those are her words interpreting what the daycare said or the daycare's exact words. And somehow I thinks that those are her words, that the daycare did not say, you are to withhold affection from your son because he cries all day at daycare. No. They're probably saying, okay, I'm telling you guys right now, your baby screams all day, wants to be held all day. And we cannot do this in a daycare environment. You just can't. It's physically impossible. Especially, it seems like this is a daycare center and the baby's probably in an infant room. And there's probably 1 to 2 teachers for 8 kids, for 8 babies. So you physically can't do it. Okay. Whew. Let me gather my thoughts here. Now, if you're putting your baby in daycare for 4 days a week, full days, you have to expect that your baby won't be held all day long. And if the daycare provider said to withhold affection, that is wrong on the daycare provider. That is tactless. That is not the right way to say something to a first-time mother. Me, in my opinion, what I would have done if I have a kid that's brand new to my program and they scream bloody murder all day, and I know it's because they're held a lot at home, this is what I would say to the parent. I'd be like, hey, okay, your baby is having a hard time adjusting. Now, I just want to let you know that this is normal for some kids. It just depends on the baby's personality. And it seems like your baby has a separation issue. Now, I have no problem with dealing with your baby every day because I know that your baby will become the funnest, cutest, most independent, fun baby once he understands in his head how to self-soothe and how to play. Once he understands this, he's going to be great. But I need to tell you that this is what's going on, and are you okay with it? And then they'll be like, yeah, I am, because I've got to work. And I'm taking the blame off the parent because the parent's going to do what the parent's going to do. I'm not going to say that you can't co-sleep with your baby. I'm not going to say that you can't run around with your baby and a baby Bjorn all freaking day long. That's your business at your house. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do in my business and my house with your baby. And if you are okay with that, and if you trust me enough to deal with your crying baby, then there shouldn't be an issue. So she is not the asshole in this opinion. In my opinion, she is not the asshole. And the daycare provider, if they said those words, is. And there's only a few instances when I will say, okay, can you do this at home? And it's not for that, if that makes sense. It doesn't, gosh, I can't even remember the last time I asked a parent to do something at their home, unless they asked me for advice. If they said, hey, my baby's doing this, I'd be like, okay, try this. But I've never went and said, to make my life easier, can you do this? I've never really said that. The only thing I've ever said is if a baby comes in pull-ups, and I'm like, don't put them in pull-ups, please put them in a diaper. It's harder for me to change a pull-up versus a diaper. And I think that's about it. But no, she's not the asshole. Okay, third question. These are fun. I like this. Okay, this one's a good one. Am I the asshole? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's see what she said. I never got the update. Let's do it. Okay, hold on. ETA. Wow. Thanks for all the feedback. I had no idea this would blow up so much, and I just got to check comments after being at work all day. I'm going to come back and respond some more later tonight after I put the baby to bed. Y'all have given me a lot to consider, and I do think I should get on some wait lists elsewhere just in case. I really don't want to have to pull him and to put him somewhere new, but I will if I don't feel like he's getting the care he needs. They send me photos of him happily doing tummy time and sitting in his swing smiling, and this is the first time anyone told me he was causing any issues. It's also a 7-minute walk from my work, and knowing he's nearby has been huge for my adjustment back from maternity leave. I really wish I could stay home with him or we could afford a nanny, but that just isn't in the cards for us. Okay, now this chick needs to tread lightly because don't go by people's comments on Reddit. Like, bitch, please, no. You don't know who these people are. Are you kidding me? That's like the social mob on mom Facebook groups that act like they know everything and they portray themselves as some kind of baby whispering super mom guru. But if you look at them in real life, they're a hot mess. So no, girlfriend, don't do that. Ugh. Ask a professional. Come to my channel. I'll tell you the truth. Okay. It sounds like the daycare is going to be, I think it's going to be okay with this daycare. There just needs to be some communication here. Like, I do snapshots, I take pictures all the time. Anyway, okay, let's go to question number 3. Am I the asshole? Parents who send their kids to daycare, how do you do it? I'm currently a stay-at-home mom, and we had to move away from our families because of DH job, so no community at all to help where we live. Okay. At around 16 months, I noticed that my child wasn't very verbal and found out about a free program for parent and baby. Her pediatrician suggested she needed to socialize with other kids to help her language skills. It was great at first, but recently I noticed more and more parents bringing their sick kids and no one saying anything about it. So we started getting sick as well. Minor colds, but only lasted a couple of days. Good for her immune system, we said to ourselves. Then a couple of weeks ago, this very sick kid coughed on LO's face. We didn't know the other kid was in the tunnel thing. Okay. And I knew immediately a storm was coming. She got sick in a couple of days, which progressed to a terrible congestion. So, of course, double ear infections, and now all three of us are sick. I can barely function. My husband has an intense workload, and my little one, okay, that's what that means. My little one is constantly cranky and in pain. I feel like never going to the program ever again, and I'm rethinking going back to work if it means sending her to daycare where she will inevitably pick up worse and worse things. Feeling helpless and lost and super, super sick. I resent these parents that knowingly expose their sick kids to the public after the freaking plague. Okay. Am I the asshole? Yes. Oh my gosh. Girl, you better get your shit together. Kids get sick. For the love of all that is holy, kids get sick. And if you want to stay in your house, then stay in your house. That's it. Don't put your kid anywhere. But guess what? When your kid has to go to school, your child is going to be sick all the time. Like, you think this is bad? Wait till they go to preschool or school for the first time. They're going to be so sick because you didn't build up their immune system. And it seems like this parent, it's all about them. It's not really about the kid. They're blaming everybody else for them getting sick. So they're blaming this poor little toddler who's a germ factory, like all toddlers are. They're gross. That's all there is to it. I get sneezed on and boogers slimed on. I get slimed on, sneezed on, coughed on, occasionally crapped on, throwed up on a daily basis. And what are you going to do? This is life. This is what little kids do. And if you want to bring your child to daycare, or if your child has to go to daycare, that's what's in the cards. And in my over 20 years of experience, the younger you bring your child to daycare, the healthier they are overall, because they build up immunities, they build up their immune systems. And I would say, if I'm going to think about it, like 90% of my daycare kids throughout the years that came as infants to childcare as infants hardly ever get sick. And if they do, it's very mild. So this chick is out of her mind. She's probably a hypochondriac herself. And if she's flipping out over this, you're going to have some serious issues, chicklet, because that is ridiculous. Let's see. She has an edit. Edit. Thank you for everyone for the insight and support I needed. Also, this post wasn't meant to offend people who send kids to daycare, but rather asking them how they deal with the multiple illnesses passed around in daycare, since I'm having such a hard time with current illness we got from barely 2-hour Taught Me program. Lastly, no, we're not in a bubble. See? We're actually very outgoing, and that's why I'm surprised how hard we were hit with this bug. Also, in my comments, I mentioned the child I'm referencing was super sick and lethargic, much like my little one right now, and not just sniffly, etc. Anyway, thank you so much. And daycare parents, you guys are another level. Mind blown and little star emoji. Well, girl, you'll get it, but it's question of the day is am I the asshole? And you kind of were. And that will wrap up this session of Am I the A-hole? Episode number 1. I think I'm going to do more of these because it's hilarious. I get a kick out of it, obviously. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe and share this channel out. And that'll do it. I'm Natalie, and I will see you on the flip side. Subscribe.